Morning, everybody. It is, I think it's the 7th or the 8th. I have no idea. I think it's the 8th. Whatever. Anyway, let's talk about Wolcen, or Wolcen Lords of Mayhem, okay? I ended up putting in 30 some odd hours into it, give or take. I ended up joining up with the community, played with them for a bit as well after I beat the main campaign, all of that stuff. Great time. We're going to get into all that. I'm going to get into a little bit of how the builds work in that game, the skills, all that stuff, and just kind of clarify. No spoilers or anything if you're super interested in trying out the campaign, but from my perspective of playing the campaign, it's a lot better, a straightforward campaign than any other ARPG that I've played. They had good, simple cutscenes, things like that. But yeah, we'll get into all that. So start off. Let's talk about the overall leveling experience and how that felt. It felt great. It takes give or take 18 hours, 18 to 21 hours give or take to actually get through the game itself. The main campaign itself. That's how long it took me, right? I did every time there was a dungeon that popped up on the map. I did it. Every time there was an additional area to explore, I did it. I explored, I did everything that I could, because it is a pre-laid out map in the main campaign, okay? Pre-laid out. I did all that. At least from my understanding, that's what it was, okay? I could be wrong. I could be wrong on this one, but how they have it laid out, it doesn't seem like they could have randomly generated stuff per how they have everything laid out, right? Yeah, so the campaign, the voice actors were great. The voice actors were actually really good. Some of the dialogue was kind of whack. The story was about a 7. It wasn't bad. It's not bad. The voice actors were a 9. Honest to God, I give them a 9. They did very good. It was a lot. They have very diverse voice actors too, which was crazy because you wouldn't expect this out of a smaller studio, because some studios, like, it was the quality of voice actors to Diablo. No lie. Maybe just slightly under that, just because of how big of a budget they usually have. Just slightly under that, but not by much. It was really impressive. But again, Diablo as well, right? Not like number 2, number 3 I'm talking about, right? They have a very hard, easy to understand, but short story, okay? This game has a lot more complex story, and there's a lot more of it, okay? Each act in Diablo is kind of its own story, which is, it's kind of weird, right? It is, but it also, progresses through. But in this game, they end up, there's 3 chapters, and they end up doing it in a way that feels like it's like whenever you enter a new zone or areas, you have the same hub town the entire time. It changes though as the game, you progress through the game. But they end up having it to where it goes together very well. But enough of that, right? Like the leveling experience, was great. All that stuff. Okay, skills. Let's go into skills. Overall skills and abilities. You do not pick a class in this game. Okay, you don't pick a class. You go into it with your character, and to start off, you pick whether you want a sword, a bow, or a staff. Boom. And you get 1 spell to start off. But you can collect every single spell in the game on that character, and also change out weapons in the game whenever you want. And your weapon, kind of like Guild Wars, I'd say similar to Guild Wars, or I think Elder Scrolls Online does it too. Your weapon is linked to your abilities. So you have to have a sword or an axe or a hammer to use the warrior abilities, right? You have to have, whether it be one-hand or two-handed, you have to have a bow or a dagger, right, to use those rogue type abilities. Same thing with staff. You have to have a staff or a catalyst, which is like, it's kind of like a ritual looking thing that you have in your hand, your left hand. And then you can have a main hand on your right, so you could, like, you know, do weird builds with like a dagger and a catalyst, or a one-handed mace and a catalyst to do different build, have a build diversity, right? And this whole entire system is a spender generating system. I don't know how to say it. Basically, I have willpower on this side. Let's say you generate willpower on passive, and over here is rage, all right? Your main source of energy is for let's say for me, right? Because I use a staff, right? I don't use rage. My main source of energy is willpower. So the more I use willpower abilities, my rage fills up. Well, since I don't use rage, I have to find a way to get my willpower back, which I have different skills and abilities. Like my Infinity Blade is my main attack, and it's literally like dual wielding blades that come out, and it's my ability. It's just zoom, 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 zoom. It's like dual wielding like lightsabers basically, right? Except they're attached to your arms. Your arms are the lightsabers. And whenever I get kills with that, I then proceed to get my, you know, my willpower back. And if I don't get enough kills or crits with it, then I have to get, what is it we call it? Then I have to auto attack with my staff to get my willpower back, right? That's the premise of the system. And you can get really in depth with it, right? If you have it set up very, very well, to where you have like this perfect balance where you use willpower abilities, it generates rage, and then from rage you can use rage abilities and it generates willpower, and you can have this perfect tangent balance, right? To continuously use abilities. It's a very smart system. One person was comparing it to that I was playing with in that community, because it's a very small community, right? It's a very niche. It's not a niche game. It's just a niche community because it's one of my viewers, I think it's Nom, said, "Oh, so this is like Path of Exile," and because of how big and complex the skill tree is. And I said, I guess you could say that, but I haven't played enough of PoE to, you know, Path of Exile to even say so. But their skill tree is very complicated, like Path of Exile, though. On top of that, yeah. But anyway, past all that, that's kind of something to think about. It's a very smart system. Also, every single one of your abilities levels up in this game. Your skills. So my Infinity Blade, you can max level on abilities is 90, just like a character level, right? I would say to hit in game, you need to hit 60. That's when you start getting the big gear. All right, you want that good gear, you hit 60. Okay. But again, by the time you beat the main campaign, you're like 40 something, give or take, 40, upper 30s, lower 40s. Kind of similar to Diablo, actually. I think that's about where you're at with Diablo as well, depending on how much you crank up the torments. I know I'm kind of giving you guys knowledge, assuming that you guys have some knowledge in between, because most people don't just go into a game like Wolcen. They go into a more well-known action RPG like Diablo 3 or Path of Exile to kind of like dip their toes into that genre, right? And if you're like me, you got into this game, or you're interested in this game because you want something new. Diablo 4 is not going to be out for another probably 2 years, give or take, at least 2 years. I would say at least, realistically. So probably 2023 it'll come out, if I had to guess. Because next year is probably going to be Overwatch 2, we're guessing. So that's just something we're going to have to wait for, right? Yeah, so getting back into it, you level up your skills, max level's 90, your skills can level up to 90 as well, okay? My Infinity Blades, I don't know what the level range is to get points to add modifiers to your skills, but you can add modifiers to your skills, okay? The Infinity Blades are automatically a damage type called Ether, alright? And I'll get into the damage types in a sec, alright? Ether is a part of a certain type of magic or a certain type of damage modifier. And there's 3 types of damage modifiers. I think they're, I don't know if they would be called modifiers or not, but there are material, right? There's 3 of them right here, right? Material, elemental, and occult. And from there's 3 things underneath of that. So for material, there is physical damage, rend, and poison. Okay? And from elemental, the middle one, there is fire, lightning, and frost. Okay? And then from occult, which is what I'm spec'd into, all my gear has, you know, percentage increased to occult damage by like 7, 10, 15% to increase that occult damage, right? Is Ether, which is my Infinity Blades base skill. Sacred, which is like a holy type magic that they use as a holy type magic. And the last one is, for some reason I forgot. Occult, sacred. Wow, I forgot. It'll come back to me, right? I'll pause you guys for a sec. I remembered, it's called Shadow. Okay. Anyway, to get into that, now let's go into modifiers. Skill modifiers, you have, I think it's 20 different skill modifiers for every skill. So it could be as simple as, for my blades, as when you get a kill, you get willpower back. When you get a critical hit, you get willpower back, right? You know, and there's a total of 10 points. Once you hit, I think, level 50 on a skill, it's either 40 or 50, you hit on that skill, and you can have 10 points to spend to pick different modifiers. And you can change them whenever you want. Just like in Diablo 3, if you guys have played it, you can change those modifiers on your skills whenever you want. But for Diablo, it's you pick the base skill, you pick the damage type, and that's it, right? For this game, you pick your base skill, you can pick the damage type, right, which costs 0 points for modifications. They just changed that actually in a recent update. So I can have lightning Infinity Blades, I can have Shadow Infinity Blades, or I can have, I think, Fire or Ice Infinity Blades, I forget. It's something like that, or Plague Infinity Blades. Okay? And then on top of that, I can add like your Infinity Blades, add an additional combo to increase it for 25%. That's 2 points. Alright, and I have 10 points to spend because my Infinity Blades are level 50. Okay, so I have 8 more points to spend on whatever I want. Increase the effectiveness, or increase the critical critical strike damage, right, is one of them, I think, or critical strike chance is one of them. Another one is to just increase the flat base damage based on your weapon skill by 15%. And all of these different modifiers for each skill that you pick in the game, on top of all the elemental effects, there is a lot. It is a very deep game. It doesn't have the end game that PoE has. Path of Exile is, I would say, from my knowledge, outside knowledge on it, has the biggest end game of any ARPG on the market right now. How they have their system set up, it's crazy, all the stuff that you can do in that game, right? And this is just from an outside person looking in. I would say this game has on par with Diablo, but a little bit more, all right? It's not as flushed out as Diablo is, right? Just because it's Blizzard, they just pump money into everything, right? That's just what they do. But holy crap, is it close. It feels great. You also, like, again, there's a ton of little systems in this game to customize your character. This game assumes the character has knowledge of action RPG games. If not assuming they have knowledge, they allow you to not be stupid, all right? It's kind of like people, when you play Breath of the Wild, if you have played Breath of the Wild, they go in and they teach you the bare minimum, and they let you expand from that, right? Similar to a survival game. They don't hold your hand, right? This game doesn't hold your hand either. If you're having trouble, reset your build. You can do that, by the way. Whenever you find multiple skills of the same skill and they drop off of a boss, if I have an Infinity Blade and I find it on the ground and I pick it up, I right click it, it adds it adds skill points into my inventory, or as a currency system, that I can reset my build, increase the level of that skill, or just save them for later, right? And this game allows you to play as if you want to learn, and it's a great system, guys. It truly is. If you're like me, because I don't have much time left into this game, from how I play games and like to play games. I actually need over. Okay, you guys gonna let me over? Maybe. But I have about 35 hours into this game. Is about where I'm going to be until I switch games. Right? That's just how it's going to be. Right? Which is a solid amount of time, and it's on sale. I don't know if it's still on sale, but it was $27. It's a $40 game. It is well worth the $40. And if you're even somebody deeper than that who wants to go in and is wanting to put even more hours, I have plenty of people that I've been playing with stream-wise that just pump hours, pump. They're just pumping hours into this game. So one dude I have has like 700 hours into it. Another dude that I play with has 500, you know. Another guy has like 600. And it's really impressive. Like, if you like to grind for gear, it's a great time, right? Now, on the end game, they have a system similar to Rifts, okay? They have a system similar to Rifts called Expeditions, okay? On Expeditions, you can go up 3 at a time. What do I mean by that? Okay, on a baseline Expeditions, they start at level 45, okay? And that is called the Veteran difficulty. There's the Adept, and then once you beat the Adept, you're now in the Veteran difficulty. And actually, you have to click it. You have to click Veteran. And then from there, when you beat it and go through, it goes to level 42 gear all the way up to level 45 gear, right? Gear score is based on the mobs that you kill, okay? So let's say that I am on Expedition 100. Gear score level 100 will start dropping. It rewards the players for playing at a higher difficulty, which is really intuitive, and it feels like you're slowly progressing, right? You just keep progressing and progressing and progressing and progressing. So let's say that and as you continuously beat these expeditions and get higher tier gear, you're eventually going to taper off. All right, let's say I taper off at 100 because I'm having a real hard trouble with 100. I either need to change up my build a little bit. I need to find gear that suits me better for the situations that I'm getting put into in these expeditions. Awesome, no big deal. You just take your time. You keep running those expeditions or rifts, whatever you want to call them, and you keep progressing. And this is a 4-player co-op game, guys. I have one guy that we play with. His name's Ivan. My man crashes all the time. I'm assuming it's a network issue. It may be a hard drive issue on his computer. I'm not sure. It's really weird. But then everybody else that we play with has 0 disconnects or anything like that. And then there's another guy, he plays with a 720 GPU, and he also has crash issues, and he's running in like windowed mode, something else. But that's something, you know what I mean? That's something too. I've got a real juicer build. I'll be real with you. I've got a juicer build, and the game looks fantastic. It runs fantastic. Obviously, I'm going in a different direction, right? But there's just a lot to this game that I would like to, that I'm trying to cover everything. I'd say the last thing, really, that the biggest thing is the end game. Another type of progression that you have in it is the cities. The city system is similar to a mobile game, but it's not, right? It looks like it from like a click-to-click standpoint, but there's a lot of dialogue whenever you click, and they'll talk to you, and a lot of voice acting when you start expanding your city, because you have a council of 3 who continue to talk to you like, you know, we should make this decision because I know that this is the right decision for the city. And then next thing you know, this other lady comes in and she goes, well, if the city needs to grow this way, then you'll be more profitable. And then they just keep going back and forth, and they kind of, you know, argue and crap like that, and they bitch at each other, blah, blah, blah. Like, come on, dude, right? Like, guys, I'm gonna just upgrade everything anyway. And, okay, all right, I'm getting off topic. So, what does it do when you're expanding your city? You have options to increase the committee level. I think it's called level 1 to 3. The higher level the committee is, like, as you increase the levels of the committee, you use your actual gold that you earn from missions. You use your skill points, additional skill points that you earn from picking up more skills on the ground. And then you also use the new currency. That's this hunt currency for this current season, season 1, or they call them chronicles in this game, right? And on that, you get into it. Let's say, okay, I've increased my committee to level 1. Okay, now I'm able to make the blacksmith, which allows me to transmute and change different attributes on different gear, right? Oh, I upgraded committee 2. I'm not sure the actual order of this. I'm just popping this off right as example, because I've been doing it slowly over the past like 4 or 5 days, but it's not all the way there yet. I've only been playing this game for like 3 weeks or a month. Okay, the next part is, say, what is it? Okay, committee 2. I upgrade that, and now I've got, what is it? I can upgrade the black market, right? I can put money into it, and they're going to build on the black market, which I can put a weapon item in there, let's say a legendary weapon item, drop it in there, and next thing you know, I'll go do a whole bunch of expeditions. My productivity goes up and up and up and up, and maybe I need, let's say, to upgrade something else, like going to committee 3, maybe I need 3,000 productivity, and I get, from doing level 100 expeditions, I get 1,000 every time, and if I need 3,000, then I need beating 3 level 100 expeditions, like going through all the floors, the 3 floors of the level 100 expedition, and then I now have upgraded committee 3, and then I can repeat that process and do more and more stuff. I know it's a lot, guys. It's confused. It's kind of confusing. I'm trying to lay it out in a very simple way, but there's a lot to this. Well, now I've got committee 3. My weapon is done being. There's a specific name for it because they were telling me. I don't have the black market yet, but they were telling me how it works. So yeah. Anyway, that's more to the end game that you have. That's kind of nice. That's really nice to get into as well. Okay. Shoot. I mean, that's pretty much all of it. There's like, and the last thing I would say is, like, this is actually probably the last thing. Yeah, is there's plenty of build diversity. There's a ton of different weapon combos. The systems don't treat you like you're stupid. They treat you like you're willing to learn, willing to get your cheeks absolutely clapped, right? And on top of that, it's just a fun ARPG to get into, even whenever there's a new season. Just like Diablo, right? Diablo, you're done in 3 to 4 days. I can be done in Diablo in 3 to 4 days, max out a character, play through all the torments, blah, 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 get a full set of gear revolving around set pieces. This game doesn't have set pieces. You actually need to use all the legendaries and uniques, which is the highest tier gear in the game, to build out your character. And it's a fun system. So, Wolcen, it's a solid 8.5, give or take. Solid 8.5. All right, if you want to get into the game, a new ARPG that doesn't treat you like you're an idiot, and you go in and willing to learn, get it. Play it. I wouldn't say play it on a toaster system because the game visually looks beautiful, right? If you have the more juicer computer, the better experience you're going to get from it. All right? That's just how it is. Okay, guys? I'm going to my buddy Matt's house tonight, so I don't know if I'll be on tonight, but and I wasn't on last night either, which is kind of crazy. But the next game that we're probably going to be playing is Kingdom Hearts. I'm really sitting on it. I don't know what we're going to do. But twitch.tv/SinFizzy, at SinFizzy on Instagram and Twitter. I have a TikTok account. It's SinFizzy Official, but I don't use it very often. I kind of fell off the game on doing all that stuff. But you guys have a good rest of the day. All right? And if anything, go check it out. Go check out Wolcen. or go back to my past VODs and check me playing and whooping some ass. Later, guys.